Yo, so I appreciate you doing this.
Dude, happy to be here. This is sick.
Absolutely. Yo, so Conversations with Chai, episode 4. These are like flying now, right? We got the
Yeah.
owner of Suede Art
In
Studios,
the building, in the building.
the founder of Lost Lands of Verne,
Yes.
and the owner of like one of the pearliest whites on a brown man that I have
Oh, my
ever seen.
God. Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you. I
like
appreciate it. I
one of
appreciate it.
the pearliest whites. You're a dentist, right?
Yes, I am.
Daytime job.
Yeah, that's
Um,
my 9 to 5.
yeah, that's a pretty sick daytime job to have.
Yeah, yeah. I like it. I don't do, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
enjoy it. That's why I still the day to failure.
That's like, yo, it's kind of like interesting. Like you're like a full on dentist.
Full on, 100%. D and
That's
D.
yo, that's so like yo, people just be like the depths of like people's like work ethic is like insane to me. Like, yo, you're a full on dentist. People like work their entire lives
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
to be like a dentist, right? And on top of that, like you're like building things and like building like a following on social media. Like it's crazy to see.
It is. It's actually, you know what? Anytime somebody says something like that, I'm like, you're so right. You're so right. There's people who are their entire career, but the funny, cool thing about dentistry is everything I do outside of dentistry really folds into the career itself.
What do you mean?
Okay, so like I'm an artist, right?
Hmm.
I'm a visual artist. I like to say, because people get confused with musicians and my chains, and I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, I
yeah,
don't rap. I draw. I
yeah,
paint.
yeah,
Yeah. So there's that. And then also, yeah, I do social media stuff all around. Like I'll do videos, I'll do content for at Muslim, stuff like that, my own content. But like being a dentist, what am I doing every day? I'm talking to people every day. Right? I'm a people person, I'm extroverted. And then I work with my hands every day, all day, top to bottom. I'm working these like little millimeter can I curse on
yeah,
this?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I curse on the show.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
curse on the show all the
All right, cool.
time.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I have to be respectful.
Every time YouTube says like, "Yo, is this flagged?" I'll be like, "Yes." Like
Yeah.
I'll be saying "fuck" all the
Okay,
time.
okay, yeah.
No, you're good.
Mine, I'm like ass and shit. That's really
Yeah,
where
yeah.
I thrive in. Yeah, so I'm like working in like little millimeter ass like spaces. Like the
Mhm.
tooth is only so big, and so like you can think of that like me using a little pencil or a little charcoal, just tiny tiny things like that, and then the aesthetics of a smile. I
Mhm.
mean that's artwork in itself. So like all these things I'm doing on the side, they really just bolster up what my career actually is. And I actually got into dental school based on my artwork. I was dead in the interview room and she was like, "Oh, do you do anything else?" And I was like, "Yeah, I do some artwork." And she was like, "Show me." And I showed her and she was like, "You need to email these to me right now." And so I
Really?
did, and then next thing I knew, I got in.
Yeah, that's so
That's
fly.
what I'm saying. Like art has always been part of it.
Bro, I mean, it makes sense, right? Like the what you're talking about, like the precision of like what you do in
Yeah,
your 9 to 5, like also like translate to the precision of how like your art is probably, right? Like the
exactly.
precision and the visual elements of it. Yo, that's so fly to hear like your framework of how you like look at like your career. Is that like an active thing? Like did content or did dentistry like were all of these like active decisions going in?
I almost everything I've done is very intentional.
Okay.
The only thing that wasn't intentional was the board game. That came
Okay.
out of nowhere. Like, yeah, that just came out of nowhere. It fell in my lap thanks to my co-founder Salar,
Mhm.
and then from that blossomed. But like, I wanted to be a dentist since I was 13,
Mhm.
and I've been doing art since I was like 3 years old. Shout out mom. Like, like we were doing
Yeah.
art stuff when I was 4, 5, 6, making little books about butterflies and snakes and stuff. So that has definitely been a theme throughout my entire life.
Did your mom, like, kinda, like, promote or did your family, like, promote, like, your artistry and, like, kind of you delving down that path? Because of course, like, if you're showing it at 9, you have, like, some inclination towards it.
I think what my parents never did was stifle it.
Mhm.
But, like, promotion, I'm not sure as much because at the end of the day, like, the things that are near and dear to any
They're
Muslim
like, "Yo,
person,
Swed,
yeah,
you gotta be a good dentist."
you gotta have
Like
a career that can
yeah.
support you, right? Last thing what they wanna see you is struggle.
Mhm.
Like, they've all struggled, everyone struggled, and last thing you wanna do is see your kids struggle. So if you can set yourself up or set your kids' self up in a way that they don't, that's where we're gonna be, doctor, engineer, lawyer, software, that's where they think the money is. That's where they think we'll find our happiness when you don't have to strive for the other things, the
Mhm.
basics, food, necessities, water, a home over their head, then you can look at happiness. But thankfully, they gave a lot of that to us right now. So now we have the opportunity to look for happiness ourselves.
It's interesting that you frame it that way, right? Like, I think that there's a certain level of, like, "Yo, these are the things that would've made us happy," right?
Right.
And I think, like, the again, like, maybe it is, like, a luxury and a privilege, right? Like, for us to, like, look towards, like, "Yo, I need more happiness,"
Yeah.
right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
they were just kind of, like, satisfied by, like, "Hey, I have a roof over my head, I have
Right.
food, I have my kids are safe," like, but
Yeah.
we're, like, the generation of, like, "Yo, we kinda had all of that," and, like, again, I'm sure you're appreciative just like
Yeah.
I am of
Blessed.
it,
Blessed.
but it's, like, also, like, we've had it, right?
Yeah.
I want, like, a little bit more. right? Like, and
Yeah,
that's like something that like of course like that's like the privilege that we were granted by like their hard work and
right.
sacrifices, right?
And it also comes down to having ambition.
Mhm.
Anyone that I've seen around me that succeeds, any of my friends that are content creators, chefs, artists, video makers, producers, they succeed because they have the ambition to.
Yeah.
Right? You can have the luxuries or whatever and you can go chase it, but if you don't actually want to chase it, you don't want to do the 9 to 5 and the 5 to 9, you're not going to get it.
It's work.
It is
Like, it
work.
is work, right? Like,
It's
you're
work.
like again, like, that's why I think it's, like, super crazy that, like, yo, like, you're a full on, like, dentist, right? And, like, you're obviously, like, that's, like, the highest level of, like, that profession that you could probably, like,
Yeah,
get to
yeah.
is, like, be a dentist,
Yeah,
right?
get there.
Like, so, like, you're already there, and now it's, like, yo, like, now people don't understand, like, how crazy, like, you have to be, like, "Yo, I'm gonna go try to become something in this other space that's
Yeah.
also gonna be just as competitive," right? If not
Yeah,
more,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Did you like when did you start like kind of like delving into content? Was it like a natural like yo? Because I saw you did a couple like TikTok clips that like went viral, right?
Yeah.
So was it like a conscious like yo, I'm gonna make something that's gonna pop, or like yo, I'm just making things for fun and it popped?
So, I like life, you know. I like being a funny dude. You're a
Yeah.
funny dude in real life, you're gonna be a funny dude online. I think that's where it really starts with me. I picked up like an iPod, iPhone type situation when I was like 15. Loved taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think in like 2015, I want to say I was in college. I got into the photographer community of New York.
Okay.
One of my boys came from Chicago. He's like, I don't have many friends here. We met on Twitter, this, that, the other. We joined a little photography meet. And yeah, it was called Broketographers. I don't know if they're around anymore,
Okay.
but Broketographers in Brooklyn. That's where I had my first, like, that's where I got into the art scene in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Like Broketographers, that's what it was. And I was a photographer then. I was
Okay.
taking pictures, I had a little Canon, you know what I'm saying, going around taking portraits. And as that continued, that's when like the content you want to say started
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram specifically more. I was posting pictures, those were going in a certain place, you know, like I was getting, you know, shared and retweeted and all that stuff. And then I did a photo project. It was me and my brother. And this is old news now, like, you know, but like we were just, you know, targeting toxic masculinity. He's 12 years younger than me. So I
Okay.
wanted to get these ideas instilled into him early.
Mm-hmm.
So at this point we did like a, you know, like a photo shoot and then that went viral. And now I'm getting my first like, oh, people want to see the things that I'm talking about and the pictures that I'm taking. And so I actually was a photographer for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I almost did like weddings and engagements, and I just stopped shy of that.
Okay.
Just shy of making it like turning it monetary.
Mm-hmm.
I just shied right before that. I wanted to keep it as a hobby.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's where like really if you're talking about
Like
intentional content making, that's where it started.
okay.
Yeah.
And but now, like, you have to also be looking at, like, I'm sure you are, right? Just based off of like how I see you moving on
Yeah.
your socials, right? Like you have to start looking at it as like not a monetary thing, but like, yo, this is something still like I'm building here.
Absolutely. Like it's and I'm actually bad at it. I'm actually not good at at this portion of the social media aspect.
Okay.
I know it, right? I've been in it long enough where I'm like, okay, this is what you need to do. These are the algorithms. But for some reason, like the art part of my brain and the social media business part of my brain, they not connecting. They not linking. It's very interesting. Like I'll start a big piece of artwork and I got like 10 TikToks in mine. I got 10 reels in mine. I
Yeah, yeah,
got
yeah.
audios. But my ass will just not pick up the phone, put it on a tripod, and do my shit. I wanna be in the artwork. I wanna do the artwork.
Mhm.
And when I'm doing the artwork, I'm not doing anything else. I'm not on the phone with nobody. I'm not FaceTiming. I'm not watching TV. I got
You're not thinking about the social media part of it,
no,
right?
no,
It's just the art.
it's just the art. I got some classical music going on, you know, and I'm putting charcoal to canvas. And that's a great thing to say as an artist, but as someone who's building a platform around the artwork, I do have a failure there. Like I will absolutely not deny that.
Yo, I think I don't want you to frame that as like a failure for you, right? Because
Yeah,
I think that like, listen, like there are people that are like real artists, right? And then there are people that are real business, right? And obviously, like the people that we see, I'm talking about other spaces like in music, right? Like a Jay-Z or whoever, right? Like those are the people that have been able to craft the both, right?
yeah,
But what I kind of want to tell you, right? Because I hear you saying that, right? But I want you to know that like yo, because you look at your art form as so pure and it is, and I'm sure the art is like, and the art is a reflection of that, right?
mm,
Like I saw, like, yo, the motifs I'm seeing, they're like the Islamic influences.
yeah,
I'm like, yo, like this is like real personal. Like this isn't like some just art I'm gonna go like post so
Right.
it could go viral. Like I
Yeah,
see you
yeah.
putting yourself inside that artwork, and I want you to know that like yo, like that will organically get the people that like want that to your door.
Alhamdulillah. I mean, inshallah, that's the goal here, right?
Yeah.
The goal is to expand that way. And you know what? It's the opportunities like this that you just got to say yes to. You know what I'm saying? It's opportunities like Pop Shift. Pop Shift gave me a gallery space. Hidden by Soul gave me a gallery
Mhm.
space. Um, even just coming across my work. It's those places, those connections, those relationships that are going to further that career.
No, and like, yo, like again, like you will figure out
Yeah,
the business part of it. Like, don't like I wouldn't press about that, right?
yeah,
Like, yo, keep your art like what it is, right? But eventually you'll figure out, like, yo, what is my process for the business
exactly.
part of it, right? Because
Yeah,
you know your process as an artist because you've been doing that for like 12 plus years now, right?
right.
But your process as like a like your social media business
Yeah,
owner,
business artist. Yeah,
you're like figuring that out, right? And
yeah,
like you will figure it out. I
yeah.
think like eventually like everyone does because you're like, okay, like I'm like seeing things, right? And you're going to get better. You're gonna see like you're not gonna be able to replicate maybe somebody else's, but you'll find your own version of it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. It's you know what it is. Also, it's just like consistency.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it is that posting whatever clip, posting whatever thing. I'm also a perfectionist. I can't lie. Virgo gang. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's like I'm literally, if it's not right, you're not gonna see it. If it's not right, why would I want you to see it? And
Are
I
you
got to get out of that
are
mentality as
you like
well.
that with your art as well?
I'm like that with almost everything.
Yeah.
Dentistry, artwork, board game stuff, maybe sometimes my relationships, like I'm trying to be perfect in everything.
Mhm.
And that is also in its own double-edged sword situation.
I
Um,
would say so.
yeah,
I think that's like a tough part of like any creator because like it is a anytime you're putting anything out into the world, it's like it is a reflection of you, right?
yeah,
Like anything,
yep,
like what you're talking about, like how you are in your like 9 to 5, right? It is
yeah,
a reflection of how a portion of the population views you, right? Like these are the things that develop like people's like characters and reputation and who you actually are, right?
mhm,
It's like who do you not show up to be like during certain pockets, but who are you in every aspect of what you do,
yeah,
right? Because that's eventually the I don't know, the amalgamation of all of that is essentially you.
exactly, exactly. Like you can be a nonchalant type of person, and I'm a very calm, comfortable person. Like
Mhm,
I am, like I be walking through this world calmly. I like that, that's very Muslim of me.
mhm.
But at the same time, when I'm talking about my own stuff, I don't know. I have like this high ass standard for myself. Like I'm like I gotta achieve it every time, and I love that.
Mhm,
And when I do, ooh, knock it out the park. You know what I'm saying? Like I like my canvas pieces, the big ones.
mhm.
They take some time.
Of course.
They're not like small pieces. But when I finish it, I I honestly sometimes sit in my living room and just look at my artwork. Like it's all. I don't know if you've seen the apartment tour, but if you've seen the apartment tour, I had just have
Who did that, Pop Shift?
Pop shifted that one. Yeah, yeah.
Fire, fire. I did
So
see that.
yeah, exactly. So the my apartment is like a gallery, right? And
Mhm.
I would literally sit on my living room and just look at my work because I'm proud of it. I love seeing it. That's the stuff I want to see. And that is kind of why I keep the high standard because when I hit it, everything feels great.
Bro, absolutely. Like, there's no, like, better feeling, right? Like, knowing that, like, yo, as because I think a lot of people, like, they don't feel great about their work,
Mhm.
so then when they don't get, like, the validation and recognition, they, like, feel away because like, it's actually really an insecurity of the work,
Yeah,
right? But because you know, like, no matter what, like, yo, I know me, and I'm like, "Yo, I went
solid.
off on this piece." Like, this
Yeah,
like, I fired this,
yeah,
right? You know that, right? So it's
yeah.
like, yo, if nobody else fucking sees it, right? Who
Who
cares?
cares?
Right? Because like you're so proud of like yo what the product is,
Yeah,
right? Like I like sometimes like look at this, I'm like yo, like I like, and I think you should have that belief. Like yo, you should look at each artwork piece and be like, yo, I am the flyest visual artist that nobody's heard of,
exactly.
right? Because like yo, like you're putting like real time, sweat equity to like do this. Like you think it's
Mhm.
just like a joke thing where it's just like oh
No, it's
like
like
it's
hee hee
whatever,
ha.
right?
No, it's not that hee hee
You're
ha.
putting so much time into like
Yeah.
how long do those big canvas pieces take,
Anywhere from like 3 to 6 months, man. Like they and
bro?
remember,
You're
I'm not doing it full time.
Bro,
It's
you're
every
again, you're putting 3 to 6 months of
yeah,
your life into this. You wanna put
yeah.
out some bullshit? Like,
No,
fuck no.
exactly. I got a couple of fashion friends. I got people in
Mhm.
fashion that are some of my friends. Have you ever met any of them? Have you ever met a fashion guy?
Bro, a couple.
Yeah, each and every one of them think they're him. And that's what you need to be like. Cause you can look at them and you could be like, man, I don't like your fit. And they're like, fuck you. I like my fit. This shit is fire. I put
Fire.
this shit together. I'm like, "That shit is corny, dog." And they're like, "No, it's not." That's the type of confidence you kinda need to have in your own work. And that's something I picked up from them. It's my artwork is a high standard. I keep it there. You don't like it, that's fine. The price is the price.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah.
price is because of the time I put into it. You're paying me to take it out of my house. I want it in my
Yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You want it, you need it want it more than I do. That's why the price is a price. That's what I learned from fashion guys.
No, like, yo,
Yeah,
absolutely, because yo, you have to believe in your product
yeah,
before anybody else does it, right?
absolutely.
Because yo, like the first, like a lot of things, like it just won't like hit immediately, right? Like it
Mm,
takes time for things to hit and
mhm.
for artists to hit. Like, bro, like you're in the art game. You know how many artists get that hit after they pass?
Yeah,
Yeah, low, like, yo, I was
yeah,
so fly and y'all ain't see it. And
yeah,
like 10, 15 years after I'm dead, oh, now everybody wants me.
yeah, it's the worst, man. I get that,
You
and
you
I would hate to be that.
you would hate it, but
Yeah, it
again, like
happens.
you have to have that belief because the people who do end up converting the thing that they do
Yeah,
into like a real thing,
yeah,
bro, they had that belief before. Like they were saying, like, yo, I'm the best at this before anybody said that shit to them.
right.
Cause like that's the only thing that got them there, right? Is like, yo,
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep banging my head at this
yeah,
until y'all recognize, right?
exactly.
Nah, I think you see that in like fashion, yo. You see it in rappers, like you see your rappers all the time, like that braggadocious, like
Yeah.
because you have to believe that,
If you don't, people will see that.
of course,
If you don't, you got a chip in your armor. You
absolutely.
got an Achilles heel. That's also kinda like to bring it back, like, of all the stuff that I do, like, one of the big aspects of the board game that I have, I think it's fun.
Hmm.
I think it's a good time. So if I come to you and you don't like it, okay. You don't have to like everything I do.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here for you to be a yes man, and I never want yes men around me. I don't like
yeah.
that.
Hmm.
I don't like I don't like I can you can hear it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can feel it. And some people want that, and some people need that, but I don't.
Nah.
I need you to keep me in check. Man, woman, or child, keep me in check. If I say something wrong, I'll admit to it.
Yo, I like say this to my friends a lot. I was like, yo, there's not because again, back to like the thinking, like, yo, I'm him, right? And yo, like my product is the product.
Yeah.
I'm gonna believe that. But that's like my like of course, like I have a high bar, but like some of it is also like so I'm him. Like, yo, I don't care if this shit got like 1,000 views. Like I know this shit is fly, right?
Yeah.
Or I like, yo, I don't care if that nobody like this. I know this is fly. But you kind of trust like the people that are right around you to be like, because we all have things to work on. None of us have like perfected products, even though we
Exactly.
we have that belief in
You
ourselves.
have to.
There's always something like, yo, we could get better at. Who knows, right? Like you're talking about, like, yo, I got to get better at the business aspect, yo. Like
Mhm.
I'm like, yo, I got to get better at XYZ of podcasting, whatever it is. But you want the people around you to be able to like say that because that's like the most valuable thing, right?
Yeah.
Because outside people, your ego is 100% gonna dub them completely. You're gonna
For
be like,
sure. For
if they're
sure.
hating, they're gonna be like, yo, I'm still him. I don't care.
Exactly.
Or if they're showing you love, like, bro, like you don't really get it, right? So
Right.
like you trust your friends to be like, yo, Suede, I got you could do this, this is this, right? Like,
Exactly.
and those are super valuable to have in your circles as you develop. Do you have that now? Like, do you have like a brain trust that you're like,
I do, dude. I have actually, and it develops over time. It
mm-hmm,
really does. Most of my friends that I keep close are creatives.
mm-hmm,
It's a little bit hard for me to be friends with people who aren't. Those who of my friends who aren't creatives and are still my friends, they're such good people. Like I cannot say better things about
mm-hmm,
them. And that's the standard you gotta take. And what you said is so true. Like you need to have you need to be at the precipice of confidence. Like I said, remember that it's an age old thing we all know now.
mm-hmm,
Cocky versus confident. Like you
mm-hmm.
want to be confident enough in your abilities and you to know what you're good at. But confidence also means you need to know what you're bad at. If you don't know what you're bad at, you don't belong on the team. Because if you think you're good at everything, you want to play every position. That's not how a team works.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
all of this is going to take a team to do,
Yo,
right? You got to build that team. So, like you said, now I do have a brain trust. I do have somebody, at least somebody, if I have an emotional relationship, familial issue, I have someone to go to that.
yeah, yeah,
If
yeah.
I have something creative that I got people to go to. If I have something marketing issued, got someone to go to. I'm just, like, I got it. I got a box check for everybody. Lawyer person, got that. Medical person, got that. Like
Yeah,
and it happens over time. You
bro.
build these relationships, and it's a two-way street, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, of
Right?
course, right? Like the same way it's like, yo, like I have like Suede who's gonna do like I need a client that has like an artwork piece done. Like, yo, like hit Suede. Like,
Exactly.
but I think that like that is so how old are you right now?
I just turned 27 August.
Yo, I think at like this age, like that is like something that's like we gotta like work at, right?
Yeah.
Cause like kind of I always like say this to like every guest that's been on the pod because I want to see like I want y'all to like really see the belief that I have and not just like myself but like everybody in the space including you like people who do this creative thing
Yeah.
because I think the entire avenue is like huge.
Mm,
Like I think the
yeah,
avenue of what you could be like I have no qualms about like yo you not being able to sell your a piece for like 150,
that'd be
right? Like
sick. Yeah,
I have no qualms about that. Like I
yeah,
have that belief as long as the work ethic and all that. But
yeah.
a lot of it is like how this platform comes up because in 5, 10 years time, there's probably going to be brown people that can afford 150K piece, right?
Exactly. That's what it takes.
And again, like you will be like somebody in that space again, like where the work is because we're seeing like again South Asian fashion creatives,
Right.
bro. They're getting like
Exactly.
crazy
It
looks,
just keeps
good
going. Yeah.
bags, but I like the fact that like yo like you have that right like you're putting those like pieces together because you have this understanding so like yo you are good at the social media business thing because you're putting the business together
No, so that's what I'm saying.
you're
What
putting the business
you
together.
know, I in my brain, you know what goes on in my brain? I got a little office building,
Mhm,
and there's little cubicles, and there's departments. You got an artist department, you got a business department, the dental department's down there, fashion department's on the floor too. But as with any business, some teams like working better with other teams than other teams. So
yeah,
like my business department is bolstered. I know how to do business.
mhm,
You know, I've done all that stuff. Um, I I started, brother. I was selling Yu-Gi-Oh cards when I was 10. You know what I'm saying? Then I was selling Gatorade at the high school track meets. Shout out Prince. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I was doing.
yeah, yeah,
Business has always been something like hustle culture is hustle. You can't do a lot of stuff. Like
mhm,
there's a balance with mental health, but like sometimes the hustle's in you. Like sometimes I wake up, I'm like, damn, I want to chase a bag today. Like every day. Sometimes I just want to chase a bag, nothing else.
yeah.
And that's part of it. My issue is they not connecting, bro. I want that
Yo you want the synergy
I
right
want the
but
synergy between art and
but
business. Yeah.
yo I don't think that that is like I wish that was like that I wish they
Yeah.
could all be synergetic like at the
Just
same
like
time
that.
but
Yeah.
it's just not the case right
Yeah.
like I'm like again but like still I think it's good to take stock of where you're at and like where
Right.
you're going right take stock like be like yo am I more in synergy than I was like 5 months ago right
Yeah.
because like I don't see like I always have envisioned this like point right like this like inflection point where like yo everything is just firing right
Right.
all in cohesion
Yeah.
but again, like I'm like working towards those things, but
Yeah.
I don't think it's like there yet, right?
Mhm,
So it's
mhm.
important because like I think a lot of us like want to rush it. Like that's why like when we're younger, like they always tell you like network with like people above you, right? But there's going to be a point where like the people around you are also doing, as long as you're putting the
Yeah,
right teams
exactly.
together,
Exactly.
are also doing like flash shit. And that's how like those types of ecosystems are created, right? Like
Right.
for example, this is a business relationship now, right?
Yeah,
Like
it's like
yo, like we met, like mad cool, like South Asian creative, absolutely want to support.
mm.
You don't think that if there's like an op for me to like
Yeah,
yo,
exactly.
throw yo,
Yeah.
Suede, I got a client that's like, "You're about to do this," like,
Yeah.
bro,
Mm.
easy, and I'm sure like vice versa, like, "Yo, Ram, like
I
hey,
gotta
Ram, like I got a cool guest, like he's a
yeah.
homie, have him
He's
on,
got something coming up. He'd like to talk about it. He'd like to talk about you. He's got a good following. Boom,
put
boom,
it
blah,
together,
blah.
right?" So I think that those things, like as each of us go on our individual journeys and grow, as long as like the network is being created, right? Like there's no cap to this thing.
Yeah.
Like I want every like this is like my preachy part,
Yeah,
and like this
yeah.
is the part that I get like fired up
Yeah,
about.
yeah, yeah.
Like this is my preachy part to all South Asian creatives. Like there's no cap to this. Like
Mm,
don't think of that there's a cap to this. Don't think that it's only Suede that's gonna make like 100K on a canvas, right?
no way.
There could be three of y'all, there could be five of y'all. Who knows? It all depends on are y'all doing this thing,
Yeah.
right? So yo, walk me through like this is just like my curiosity as an outsider. Like walk me through like the art process like currently. Like are you like actively like selling? Like are people just hitting you up like, hey, I want X, Y, and Z? Because I know you have like Suede Art Studios. I like went through. There's
Yeah.
like a lot of cool. I'm assuming those are like prints.
Yeah, a bunch of stuff. There's a bunch of stuff on there.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's suedeartstudios .com. It's my hub. So this is kind of like where all the art stuff that I do, that's where it's centered.
Mhm.
Okay. And it's a bunch. Like when you're juggling a few things, things go slower.
Mhm.
If you were putting all into something, it goes fast, right? So yeah, so on the studio's website itself, I have a store. On the store, you can buy prints,
Mhm.
prints of a lot of my digital artwork, because those have to be prints,
Mhm.
right? There's no other way you can get those. Then I have my personal pieces. So those are big canvases. Those are the 18-inch by 24-inch. There's a 5 foot by 4 feet
I'm
size.
assuming all the ones that we saw in your apartment tour are all yours.
Yeah, they're all mine. Yeah,
Yeah, it's so
everything in there.
fire.
Exactly. It's a sick thing.
It's so
Exactly. Yeah.
fire.
So those are all one of ones.
Mhm.
Now the next process for me is to turn those also into prints. So maybe you don't want to buy the or you don't can't afford it or whatever the case
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
can't get the full original, you can buy a print for much less of the price and still support,
Okay.
right? Then you have commissioned work. So as of right now, I've been commissioned for books.
Mhm.
I've been commissioned for some poetry pieces. I've been commissioned for like I've been commissioned for like some album artwork and also some podcast covers.
Okay.
That's stuff I've done in the past. And then also very specific niche I have is doing wedding contracts for Muslims. A nikah nama is like a very specific niche. And you won't find that on my website because I like that one to be more word of mouth.
Mhm.
Because those are intricate type pieces and I don't do those like a lot.
Bro, you got a whole business going on the side.
On the
What do you mean?
side, yeah.
Bro, but
Yeah,
yo,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yo,
It's
you really working hard out here, and I can tell just
it's
based off of like, yo, like how you, because that's a whole other like business, like,
that's
because
a whole
people,
nother business, bro.
bro, that's so fly though, because like,
Yeah,
yo, like as like an artist, right? Like, of course, like you want to create and do like the art for you,
yeah,
right? But it's so fly that like, yo, like there is the business element of this that being like developed, right? Because
yeah.
again, what does that like Nika business look like 4 years from now, right? Like when the
Exactly.
word of mouth kind of grows, because you know, back to the thing, you know, the art is fly.
The art is great,
Like,
yeah,
let
and
it keep
people will come
going.
back. I literally sit on my ass, I do not promote that work,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I will get a, "Hey, are you still doing?" "Well, yes, I am still doing." "Give me the date, here's the price points," and my favorite part, for my close friends, those are such personal wedding gifts for me.
Mhm.
Like, I will sit there and make an original border that takes their color palette of their wedding and also, like, small motifs from their relationship. I love putting that together,
Yeah, that's
like
so fly.
yeah, one of my best friends, Zane, I did his and, his wife Maliha's, and they wanted, like, a Mughal one, like, super Mughal with, like, pieces of, like, flowers on the corners in a completely different palette than I've ever done, like, beige tones.
Okay.
And it just turned out so beautiful, like, it literally looked like one of the pages out of one of the art books that the Mughals had during that time,
Mhm.
and I was just happy to do it, and it just turned out it was like what I'm saying, like, I was just in it for the artwork,
Mhm.
and it was a beautiful wedding gift.
Yeah, that's so fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were quietly, like, building out a whole thing. How did the what was, like, the reaction, like, post, like, doing, like, the pop show stuff? Like, did you feel like, "Hey, like, I have a little bit more exposure now?" Like, how does that, like, feel for you and, like, where you're currently looking at your career?
For career-wise, I think it was a great thing to do because those pieces are South Asian centric,
Mhm.
right? I'm from Lahore, I was born in Lahore. I didn't stay there long, I moved to America when I was 3, but, like, that's where my roots are, that's
Yeah,
where my
yeah, yeah.
family is, right? And so those are those centric pieces, and so to show that in a space for that space was really amazing. I had one guy, he came up to me in tears, he thought it was so beautiful. That, more than anything, more than the money, more than any of the fame that I might have gotten or whatever clout you wanna say, that was insane. To see my art causing, moving emotions in somebody else, that's why I'm doing it.
Yo,
That's so sick.
I think that's like it really is like I get like weirdly emotional about like people who are at like the levels that I see, like wanting to like I'm like, yo, like you don't realize like how fly it is for me to see y'all in these spaces, right? Like to see somebody who like again, like I'm Bengali, I moved here when I was like 3, 4,
Yeah,
right? But I still feel like a real affinity for my like culture and for my people. So like, but like growing up, I was like would want to see like on TV, like again, like just a consumer, right?
yeah,
Watching TV, like seeing these like people, and I'm like, yo, like it would be so fly if I was in that space. But now
yeah,
seeing people look like me that are like from where I'm from and like being in those certain types of spaces and those types of opportunities and seeing like our things
yeah,
on that is the flyest thing in the world for me, right? Like I hype up like, yo, the fact that like I always talk about him because like he is like somebody that I like look up to in like
yeah,
this space. Like I like always bring up like Ani Hustle because I think it's the flyest thing in the world
yeah.
that chai is being sold on like Soho and like people like bro lines around the block. That's like a
That's sick.
South Asian thing that like yo like we all have it right. Like our moms
Yeah,
made us chai,
yeah,
right? And like we all have that like shared thing.
yeah.
And now it's like it's in the media,
It's on
right?
the
It's in
block,
like the
man.
public. Like
Yeah,
people know what chai tea
exactly.
is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And I think that's like the flyest thing in the world. So like to I can imagine like because even seeing your artwork today, like when I was like doing my research on you, I was like, yo, this is so fly. Like these are like real Muslim motifs that like I grew up like seeing in different
yeah.
places, and I'm like, yo, he's like really doing this. You know what I mean? It's like a
The
public. It's like a cool way to distribute these dope ass like things that are from our culture.
Absolutely. I mean, like, anytime I'm watching, like, TV and it's not and you know how we started with, like, our spots being, like, the taxi cab driver, the convenience store owner, those places where, okay, yeah, you'll see this person. But now I'm watching TV and I see, like, a random, like, a principal and there's brown, and I'm like, "Brown principal." Just I don't know, you just gotta point and look, you're like, "Whoa, look at that."
'Cause
Yeah.
and that's, I think,
Yeah.
the flyest thing for me to, like, watch happen. Because I think generationally, it's only gonna like, there's gonna be kids that are born today. Because when we were coming up, it really was like, "Yo, like, do you know somebody that does, like, art? Probably not." So,
No.
but, somebody's brown thing eventually became a dentist, and even then, it was, like, less,
Yeah.
right? But now it's so, like, public, and but eventually there will be, like, yo, like, I know a couple of artists, brown artists that are doing
That's what
super.
I'm in it for, bro. When my children are like, "Hey, dad, I wanna do this. I wanna be a writer. I wanna be this, that." Okay, I'll connect you to
I
somebody.
wanna be able to do
Ooh,
that.
I could,
Like,
yeah.
because I think we drive our kids towards these, like, things that we think are attainable because somebody else has attained them.
Yeah.
It's just like a knowing thing, right? Like,
Yeah.
because think about how many people came to you think all these brown people came in and were like, "Yo, I wanna drive a cab?" No, but they knew somebody who drove a cab that was
Yes.
able to provide for their family, and now they're like, "Yo,
It's a
I'm gonna just go do that because, like, I know it's proven." But
yeah.
eventually, like, we're going to be hopefully be the ones that prove that, yo, these other paths are viable and exist.
Which yeah, that goes back to the original comment I made, which is why our parents are like, "Yeah, be a doctor, engineer, lawyer," because they knew people who did that and they're living life. They could get whatever they
Yeah,
want.
yeah,
So
yeah.
now it's the same thing. Like, yeah, I do know producers. Yeah, I do know a director. I do know a photographer who is eating right now.
Yeah.
And if you want to be a photographer, I got you. We'll go talk to Ali Uncle.
Yeah, yeah,
He's
yeah.
the flyest in the game. You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
it puts you on the game, right? Like,
Yeah.
having those, like, things, because I think a lot of our parents, when they came here, it's also like a survival thing. Like, you don't
Yes.
know, like, you don't have, like, the resources that we have, right? Like, just,
Yeah.
like, the ability to attain resources because we
Yeah.
grew up here. Because, yo, they might have known, like, somebody who owned a business back in BD or
Right.
back in Pakistan, but
Yeah.
they don't know somebody is here who could, like, connect it up.
No, exactly.
But we will.
Yes. Inshallah.
Hopefully, inshallah, right?
I'm
Like,
ready. Yeah.
we will. Like, that I'm glad that you see it like that too, right? Like, I think, like, most South Asian creatives know that somewhere internally, because every conversation I have, I'm like, "Yo, like, y'all believe it too." And
Yeah.
that's the part that gets me so excited, because I'm like, "Yo, I thought I was, like, the only one that, like, had this, like, vision of what it could be," and I'm like, "Yo, everybody feels it."
Nah, if you have I don't even know what the mindset is called. 'Cause I keep hearing scarcity mindset. I actually never looked it up.
Yeah.
But you know when you're like, "Oh, I can be the only body in the space because otherwise there's no space for me." Right? If you get out of that mentality super quick, because when I became a dentist, not even that, when I got into dental school, the amount of like aunties, uncles, slash other people in my community were like, "Hey, can you help me out?" Can you help me out with the DAT? Can you help me out write what my essays is or how to interview? Yeah, I can because you getting in is not gonna affect me
Mhm.
whatsoever. I'm not gonna be a worse dentist. I'm not gonna lose my spot. Like you can be a dentist too. And mind you, I love being a dentist. And I will tell every med student to be a dentist instead. Shout out. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just a better career. Yeah. Not that I couldn't be a doctor. I just chose not to
Yo, that's so funny, just throw that in.
Of course, of course.
Have you heard that before? Like,
Oh,
yo,
all the time, you know what? So
you hear that?
I went to, University of Connecticut Medical School, like, we did, medical and dental together, and so I'm, like, taking classes with them. Yes, their
So the
rotations
doctors
are
are like, "Oh,
yeah, yeah,
y'all
yeah,
couldn't
yeah,
make
yeah.
it in these
No,
rooms?"
it's not even that, like, it's just, like, every auntie, uncle just they just wanna make a little jab. People love making jabs for no reason, and me, you can't jab me,
Yeah,
brother.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
good where I'm at. I'm good where I'm at. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't be a lawyer, though, too much reading.
Yo, I think that's, like, the cool thing about, like, South Asian creators, because we all have to have that, right? Because we've faced jabs our entire lives
Every
about
day.
everything. So we're almost like, yo, like, my level of I don't give a fuck is absolutely crazy. You know
Yeah,
why? Because everything I did since the minute I was born probably got criticized by someone somewhere for something,
all
right?
the time.
Aunties, like, whatever, like,
Yeah.
yo, like, you put on a couple pounds, like, yo, like, you just, like,
Yeah.
yo, you think my brain hasn't figured out how to, like, absolutely dodge criticism, right?
No, brother, we grew up on critique.
Bro, like, I can like it's so crazy to me. Like, they're all like, "How are you so jaded to, like, what I'm like, "Yo, like, I've heard it fucking all from
Yeah,
family members, like, I
yeah.
don't give a flying fuck about this anymore," right?
Doesn't
Like,
matter to me.
it's a good and bad thing, because 'cause you're like, "Damn, it sucks that we had to build these, like, emotional walls from that," but
Yeah,
it's like, it's kind of leans into, like, what we're trying to do now, which is, like, because I think putting out content is, like, the craziest thing in the world, right? You're like,
brother.
"Yo, judge me," right?
Dude, seriously, you go viral one time, be prepared to hear the worst things you ain't even thought about yourself. I went viral, I don't know, like 2, 3 years ago off one video, and people were like, "Oh, you look like Kanye West." I'm sorry, I look like Kanye West? Never heard that in my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now I'm like, maybe I do look like Kanye West, but it's just like, yo, there's so many people that think so many things. If you want to be in the space of content creation, if you want your
You have to
footsteps,
take shit.
you gotta be ready.
You
You
have to
gotta
take
have your
shit.
armor
Do you
ready.
do you be reading comments?
I love reading comments.
Really?
I love that. I'm sorry. That's like popcorn to me. Because at the end of the day, what I told you is what I think. It's like I know who I am.
Mhm.
I'm very secure in myself.
Mhm.
Everybody's got insecurities. I do too. But I know those aren't what make or break me,
Mhm.
right? I know what I'm good at, and I'm good at a lot. Alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's at the end of the day, you just have to do the I'm him type situation.
Like back to yo, I know my art is fire.
Exactly. And then when you read the comments and you're reading like for okay, so a big thing for me is I am in the Muslim space.
Mhm.
And if you're in any religious space, whether it be Christian, Jewish, Muslim, even I've seen it happen in the Hindu spaces and the Sikhi spaces. If you are trying to even do good, there will always be people here to take regulation A.3.B, and be like,
Tell you why you shouldn't be
why
doing the
you shouldn't
thing.
even doing that shit. And if you do not have the strength in your faith, if you do not have the strength in yourself, that's when you shouldn't be reading comments.
I think that's yo, but it's all kind of like together in a sense because you need to have that anyway to do what you do.
That's what I'm saying.
Right? Like, I also think like, yo, for you, it's a little bit easier to have that because yo, my personal opinion, your artwork is fly, right? Like the craft is good, right? I
Yeah,
think like that's the part that gives you that confidence, right? It,
right.
it really is like being confident in your craft, right? Like, of course,
Mhm.
like we all things to improve on, but
Yes.
like the confidence in like, yo, I'm putting out like my best. Like, could it be better? Yeah, but it's
Yes.
my best and it's fire, right?
And that's what it comes down to. In the comments, you're reading these people, and honestly, it's just you're reading their projections.
Hmm.
You're reading what they think about themselves and how harsh they judge themselves. And something as soft as like Islam is something as soft as something religious or faith based. And you're going down and you're like, wow, like everything they're saying, they're critiquing themselves every day. I can
With that
o-
same
I
mindset,
can only imagine how hard their life is.
yo,
I can only imagine how hard their life is. If
you're
these
Virgo, right? You
yeah,
said.
yeah.
Okay, I see.
If these are the
It's
things that are driving you
the
away from
empath
this
Virgo
religion,
in you.
yeah, it's just I'm like, wow, bro. Like, one time I went viral. I got a fly haircut and I got a slit in my eyebrow. It was nice. I liked it. It was sick. The things I got from the Muslim community about the slit in my eyebrow, I'm like, bro, like if this is stopping you from practicing your faith, I can only imagine how you're doing that. How
Yeah,
you're living life, going around like judging yourself, judging others, where you're not even focused on your faith anymore.
yo, I think that's yo. I'm glad that again, yo, it shows like a good level of EQ, right? I was just talking to my therapist about this, right?
Yeah.
And I think like a lot of times, like especially like again, we're creating like these like brain trust that we trust, right?
Mhm.
I'm gonna like I like of course gauge them, but then you realize like some people are just like out of like the realm of normalcy and like the way that they're viewing things is like you may be like, yo, I would never view it like that, right? But somebody could be seeing what you're saying and being like, again, whatever fucked up perception that they have of like
Right.
themselves or the
Yeah.
world, right? Like that's what they're putting you on,
Yeah.
right? I noticed like it's shocking. Like I've only been doing this like I have like 2 episodes out, right? It's shocking the amount of things that like people just take and like turn it into something that completely else,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? Like like the first clip that we put out was like something about like yo like part of this like journey that I'm on, right? Like I have to like I'm like focusing on like the career a little bit more than I am like the building a family and all of that, right? Like that
For sure.
lifestyle,
Absolutely.
like just my personal choice. And it was crazy how like people transform that into like something else, right? Like, oh, never cares about like relationships or like that's
Wow.
just not the case,
Yeah.
right? But again, my therapist was like, yo, think about it. That's exactly how they're
It's
viewing
how they're eating themselves up.
like, it's good that you know that, right? But I think
Yeah.
a lot of people, like, if you have any level of that insecurity or not confidence in, in your work or whatever you're putting out, it could be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's where I think we batter a lot of people down, right? People who probably could have developed that confidence, but the first bad instance or bad reaction, they're like, fuck.
Yeah. Exactly. You know what? Business idea. Business idea. Business brain working right now.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
If somebody out there wants to create a course with my help,
Hmm.
if you need me, if not, I don't care. This is a free idea for anybody.
Okay, let's hear it.
Create a course for content creators going viral. What it takes, what a mindset you need to have, what armor you need to have, what emotional quotient you need to have, and what things you need to say to yourself. Sometimes people are like, just don't read the comments. And that's fine, whatever the case is. But sometimes you do need to read the comments and you need to do that like exposure therapy. You need,
I think it's tough though, right? I
yeah,
think like people like think about it. Like me and you are like different, right? In the way that we probably like look at business. Like I'm sure
yeah,
there's like a lot of overlaps because
yeah,
of like what
what
we
we
do.
do.
But it's tough because like you're also like you're the way that you are gonna progress through your like creative journey is gonna be a little bit different than the way that I progress through my creative journey, right? So it's like tough because like you as a person, the things that trigger you and the things that thing
Mhm.
are probably different than the things that like trigger me or like whatever, right? So it's like tough because like you're trying to sell like a sell all creation, and it's like like everybody has like different insecurities, right? Like because you're so confident about your
Right.
unique background. Like think
Yeah.
about it, you're a dentist.
Mhm.
No matter what, if all this artwork shit sucks, I'm fine. Yo, y'all
Yeah.
think y'all affected me, but bro, that's not a luxury that like a lot of.
Correct. But that's what I'm saying. But what you said is true. People have insecurities.
Mm,
I'm targeting the fact that people have insecurities. We're not working on the insecurities.
hmm
We're working on what triggers the insecurities. That's what I'm saying.
Yo,
I'm saying like when people go, my friends have gone viral, people have gone viral, and they're just flabbergasted at the stuff people are saying.
hmm
And some people will literally just go down the list and be like, "That's not a nice thing to say." Da 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 da. Blah blah blah. And that's like there's a time and place. I had to go through all that. I had to go through the portion of where you do comment to people, where you do block people, where you do mute accounts, where you're fighting back and forth in the comments for your life, right? And then you go to the other side and you're like, "Oh, this is just like that one guy from that one time in 2013. He doesn't care. He just has so much time on his hands. I don't. He's not doing nothing."
it's so tough though, because like
Yeah.
people who aren't like that, like people who are just like I consider like normal people, because I'm sure you're not walking around seeing other people content like yo, like let me go throw some hate on
Yeah,
it, right?
exactly, but
So like
people do.
it's so like insane for you to think that like because you really think it's like that personal. It's like yo, this guy
Yeah,
felt so strongly about this that he decided to go say that or she decided to go say that. It's like yo, I don't feel that passionately about like anything unless I like really love it.
yeah,
Because again, like it's just like a difference in character, right?
right.
And it's hard for you to identify the basically what is the complete opposite. Because I'm sure
Mm,
you're in your artwork and like who you are, probably supportive of other creators and supportive of
yeah,
things going around you. You have to be, right? Like you're
yeah.
in this space, like it's just
I'm the opposite of a hater.
yeah, yo, I really like love everything,
Yeah, I'm a
right?
liker, bro.
Huh?
I'm a
I'm a
liker.
liker,
I'm a liker.
because I want like bro, like
I wanna like things.
people do like again, like some shit is garbage, sure, right?
Absolutely.
But there's so many people that do super fly shit that don't get to hear, like, yo, you're so fly. Like, I'm glad that like I forgot how I found you. I think a friend sent me like your artwork.
Nice.
Um
Thank you,
and
friend.
and I was like, yo, like this shit is so fly,
Yeah.
right? Like, and I'm just like, yo, I'm glad I got to see that because if somebody hadn't shared that, like I would have never gotten to see it. And I was like, yo, like this is so fly, like fly.
Mhm.
Cause I'm like the person who's like, yo, like I would absolutely put that in my place. Like, why wouldn't I?
Right, sick.
Um, do you like now, like in terms of like artistry, right? Like, are you currently working on a piece?
So I have the big sets. I got the big 3. So
Mhm.
I did 2 of the 3, which were display at Pop Shift, and now I'm working on the 3rd one. Again, it's gonna take some month. But it's kinda like priorities have changed a little bit, where as lovely as the art thing is, right now I'm putting all into this board game.
Okay.
Like, that is my new, technically, art project. It just, keeps going up, keeps going up.
Board game is out.
Board game is dropping this
When?
year. So we've been collecting pre-orders. We're
Okay.
still collecting pre-orders. We set the payment into our manufacturer overseas. They're building it. They're like they're doing the whole thing. So
Hmm.
they are shipping us whole boxes. We're not assembling anything. That takes a little bit of time. But yeah, we like the purchase order is in. Like boxes are coming. If you bought it, you're getting it this year.
That's so fly.
Right. And if you buy it now, you're gonna get it this year
Yeah,
regardless. You're just
yeah,
gonna get sued and then people who waited and bought it in March.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, so like that has been taking up a lot of my time in terms of emailing our meetings. Our team is growing,
Hmm.
right? We're adding people here and there. We got videographer, logistics, head of growth. It's like I said, I fell into this and I'm like, wow, like this is something I never thought I would fall into, but it's amazing and it's another passion project of mine that just blossomed,
Bro,
right? And
like love that. Like, yo, like have fun with it. Like,
yeah,
yo, I know it's gonna be. I'm sure it is.
you got to play it,
What
bro.
I'm sure
You
it's
got
like,
to play it.
bro. I absolutely after this we will absolutely order
Yeah,
one. I like listen. Like, I know it's gonna take like you're figuring it out. You're trying to build out a new business,
yeah,
and I always tell people I'm like, yo, like it's gonna be work, but like you
yeah.
gotta enjoy it, right? And I
Absolutely.
hope you are. What does the development of a board game like look like? Like, what was like the first pitch me? Like, what is the backstop of this? Like, what
Okay,
is?
so let's just pitch the board game first.
Okay.
The board game is a fantasy board game. It's
Okay.
lore based, right? It's based on the story that my co-founder has written.
Mhm.
It takes kind of like the best parts of all the games we played when we were younger.
Okay.
You got your Monopoly, your Catan, your Dungeons and Dragons, your Risk, War. All those games kind of we took just the juice, squeezed out the best parts and put it in this game, right? So you're getting this aspect of storyline, you're getting this aspect of playing with other people, and you're creating alliances, you're breaking alliances. My favorite thing now, I don't play no more because like I'm going out and setting up these Vern Wednesdays we call them with people playing. I love watching because people get into it. People like turn into the characters they're playing and just start like I've seen relationships break down. Like you are boyfriend, girlfriend. By the end of the game, no, I am this person and this person. We're going to war right now. It's
Are
sick.
you seeing that, like, growth in, like, the people, like, in terms of, like, your player base, I guess? Like,
It's listen, bro, we've sold 180 copies like pre-order.
yo,
You
good
know what I'm saying?
shit.
Alhamdulillah. And so we're gonna keep going. The idea right now is just to get that bulk order in
Mhm.
and get the boxes over. And so once people get them in their hands, then they play with their friends. And now it multiplies, right? You need like 2 or 3 players to play this game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So once you got a box in hand, you're playing with players I've never met. Those are your friends, not my friends.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then they get to look at it, then they get to enjoy it. Like, my big goal, my fantasy goal it's not really money, like, sure, if we make money from the game, great.
Mhm.
My goal is to go to a friend of a friend of a friend's house.
And see the game?
3 friends away, I'm at there at a party, I'm there for Thanksgiving, I'm there for a little
"Yo,
kickback.
guys, let's play a new board game."
And then they're like, "Yo, I found this game, like, it's so fun, we got enough people to play," and they bring out and I'm like, "Oh, really? Oh, really? You like this game?" They're like, "Dude, I love this game, we play
Mm.
it every Saturday." I'm like, "Oh, sick." I take out my, like, special, like, co-founder piece, gold plated, I'm like, "I could play this game
Yeah,
too."
it's so
That's
funny.
that's the real goal. I
Nah,
would
that
love to see that shit.
again, right? Like, and yo, I'd that's actually a crazy marketing strategy. I guess, like, board games, as long as the game is fly, which I'm sure it is, um,
It's gotta be a good game.
it's going to grow, right? Because like,
Yeah.
I like, bro, like, I love Sequence. So, like, my cousins now, they're all into it. They all
Oh,
have one
yeah,
at
yeah,
they
sequence.
all have one at their crib. Are you, like, so you're saying you're taking pre-orders right now. Like, how has it been, like, building out, like, the business part of that? Like, is there, like, a marketing, like, plan around it? Like, or is it like, "Yo, I wanna put this out there and let this shit
So
grow?"
the big marketing plan is next once we get the boxes now,
Okay.
right? Right now we have the sample copies.
Mhm.
We've been building this game for 2 years now.
Mhm.
We launched 2 years after we started making it, like, building out everything. We launched in
Oh, this is,
March.
like, really, like, a love baby project. You've been working on
Honestly,
it
bro,
2 years since,
it's been
like,
on the shelf, it's been off the shelf. It's been on the shelf,
yeah,
it's been
yeah,
off
yeah.
the shelf, and you just keep working, you keep working, you keep working. And then one day, one of my friends was like, "Hey, man, like, I know you're about to go to sleep." I sleep at 11:30. So he's like 10:30, he's like, "I know you're about to go to sleep, but you got Vern on you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I got Vern, this and that." And he was like, "Yo, we started playing Catan with my boys, and we can't play that no more.
Mhm.
Like, it's boring in
It's done,
comparison." It's
yeah.
yeah, like, we wanna play your game. I know you're about to sleep. Can you just drop it off? You can go home."
Yeah, yeah,
They don't want me there.
yeah.
They want the single copy of Vern I had. That's when I knew, "Oh, we got something on our hands."
And then you went full body.
That's when I went full body. That was October of last year. And then March of this year, we were like, "All right, pre-orders are set. Like, we are going to sell this game. We're gonna play this game." And the marketing strategy right now, completely grassroots. Every other Wednesday now, but during the summer, every Wednesday we would play Vern with the random people. We have a Google form, people sign up. Bro, we had the longest waiting list. Like, it's gotten to a point where like I have sold 180 copies. There was like 200, 250 people on that list just waiting to play.
Yo,
Just
that's
waiting
so
to play.
fire.
And we just don't have the space. Like, we
Mhm,
could run like 3 to 4 games a Wednesday. You have to think about we live in New York. How many apartments can hold 16 people?
mhm.
Not many. So we were just doing like 12-person games and they were growing. And you could see on the Instagram page, our first game was like 4 people. Then it was like 8. Then it was 12, 16, 16, 16. Like, you just see like a massive, and it's people are return players. People are telling their friends. People coming from out of town to play.
Yo,
I've been going out of
I
town to
love
play.
that, and, like,
Yeah.
yo, you probably feel amazing because that's, like, real product validation, right? Like,
Yeah.
not like, yo, because I think that's really what it comes down to. Because as soon as you, like, realize that, like, yo, I can like, I got a couple, right? Because you get one because 'cause they're, like, friend, whatever.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
like, yo, I got a couple, so why couldn't I get, like, a couple more, right? Because like, somebody is enjoying it, which means that your product has some viability. Now, to
Correct.
the degree of viability, of course, we'll see,
Yeah,
but it gives you belief, like, yo, these people fuck with this product that I've created, right?
exactly.
Like, all it's gonna take is, like, more people, right? Like,
Right.
I think that's, like, something to put into perspective, especially as you, like, roll this out, right? Like, yo, you already got it. You
Yes.
already got the
The
product,
game
right?
that's what I'm saying. For me, if you don't buy the game after you play it, I don't care
Yeah, yeah,
because the game's not for you.
yeah.
I'm not here to sell you nothing. I'm here, do you enjoy the game and would you like to play it again? Because I got people who enjoy the game.
Mhm.
I got people knocking on my door. I got texts coming in, "Can we play? Can we play?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And right now, my bottleneck is I only have 4 copies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
they're mine. Like, I have to traveling salesman them to you, and sometimes I don't got time.
So wait, when are we getting these like pre-orders? I want to play.
Yo, we could play it. Remember, I got the copies. We can play,
I forgot
absolutely.
who I was talking
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
Yeah.
we could play. That's not a problem. But like the copies are gonna come inshallah in the next 3 months.
Okay,
Like the
fine.
order is in. We're just making it so every piece is nice and perfect. Like every piece, again, I can't get out a product if it's not
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah, yeah.
So that's on me. But yeah, we want to make sure because the coins are all metal. Like those are some metal coins you're getting. So we want to make sure the color is correct, the hue, the shaping, the characters, they're all hand designed, right? They're 3D modeled. We want to make sure those are they don't break easy. All the cards, that's all that boxes and stuff like that. So yeah, that's coming in the next few months, bro.
Yo, I think that's so fly because like, yo, I want to be able to say like, yo, like just like we talk about like, yo, the founder of Dungeons and Dragons, which is like now a multi-million billion
Yeah.
dollar brand, right? Like, yo, the founder of like Lands of Verne is
That's
like
what I'm
a
saying.
Pakistani creator from New York,
That's
right?
what
Like
I'm
that,
saying.
like that is going to be like, yo, these are the things that like excite the fuck out of me, right?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's like you. I hope it's you. I hope it's the person next
Yeah.
door, right? Like I'm so excited for whoever it is because I know it'll be there, right? As long as these
Yes.
people are putting out the product and working, right? Like I have no qualms about like yo us reaching like that space, right? Because why not? Why couldn't it be a D and D?
Why couldn't it be,
Like you
bro?
believe in
That's
the
what I'm
game,
saying.
other people believe in the
Yeah, why
game. It
couldn't it
could have
be?
be a D&D, right?
Yeah.
Yo, Suede, I appreciate you doing this so much.
Man,
Yo, it was great meeting you.
you as
I
well.
like I'm again like this is just like me like yo as like me to you. Love what you're doing. Like yo, keep that up because I think like again we're all like needed, and
Mm.
I think like what you do super creative. You're not just like another musician. Like not again we love
We
all
love
of our
musicians.
musicians.
That was the
I'll
hit
let
on
y'all keep
musicians.
I'll I'll let y'all keep rapping, keep doing all of them because we need y'all
But
too.
some of
But
y'all do it better, please.
yo,
Just do some better.
nah, yo, like, yo, so I appreciate you, V.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Thank you for
Yo, good
fostering
meeting you,
this
bro.
community. I
Absolutely.
appreciate that as well.
We good? Amazing.
You're welcome.